At the 11th hour, we find out there is a charge on the property, which is a really serious problem for the lender. Hi everyone, welcome back to our YouTube channel and our 12 Days of Christmas case studies. So today I am talking about what happens when you have a client who needs to complete on a property, and at the 11th hour we find out there is a charge on the property, which is a really serious problem for the lender. It was a restriction around the resale of that property, and that any proceeds, any profit, needs to be paid back to the existing lender that has a charge on that property. So what do you do in that situation? So let me tell you some more. The client had come to us with an auction property. It was an existing client of ours, so we knew him really well. He purchases lots of properties in a particular region in the southwest. So we knew him really well, generally know his properties really well as well. He has a very good model, a model that he repeats again and again. And we had never had a problem with an auction property of his before this one. So we use a lender that we've used many times before. They're a really flexible lender. We've got a fantastic relationship with them, and we use them a lot for our auction cases because they can work quickly, because their legals are fairly straightforward. And when something does crop up, inevitably, sometimes these things happen, they are able to move quickly. So that's the investment that we make into the relationships that we have. And it also just goes to show that it's really important that you choose bridging lenders who work well with you and are prepared to make decisions. So it was all going really well. The valuation had come back, and it was exactly as we were expecting it to be. The solicitors had been instructed. We were all going swimmingly. We had a deadline, but it was fine. And then the solicitor looks at the land registry documents. There had been a bit of a delay with this because they hadn't been updated. There was a bit of an issue with them. When they finally saw those documents, they realised that there was a charge on there. And there was a restriction on there that stated that if the property is to be resold within 12 months, all the profit that the new owner makes needs to be paid back to the bank that's got the existing charge on there. And the reason for this is that it was a bank repossession, and the banks do have an obligation to make sure that they're getting the best price for their property, and that is a way of ensuring that they can prove that is the case. Obviously it doesn't work so well when you've got a property that's in really poor condition, that has got loads of scope for a refurbishment and a refinance, and increasing the value of that. Luckily, in this instance, the client wasn't looking to sell the property. They were looking to refurbish and refinance. But what happens? This restriction is a problem for the lender. If there is an issue and if they come to repossess the property, then it's putting their charge at risk. So that's something that's really important that we work with. The lender was fantastic. They were really flexible. What we were able to do is find another property that the client had in their portfolio. This happened to be unencumbered, but I think it would be okay as a second charge as well. And they decided to put a charge on that. The problem being, we did not have any time to get a valuation carried out on that property, to do any legals on that property. It had to be a literal stick a charge on it and keep our fingers crossed and hope that it all works out, which they did, and we did complete on time. There was no additional charges for the client, bits of extra legals, but no charges from the auction house. Completed it, no problem. The client actually refurbished the property, and then we had to then go back to the same lender on the refinance because this restriction's still there, and it's still causing a problem. But the original lender that did the bridge also agreed to do the term mortgage. Obviously then at the end of the 12 months it drops off, so it's only for the sake of about 6 months. Kept the charge, waited for the 12 months, removed the charge on the other property. So yeah, a real tale of how a lender that's able to take a view on things, to be flexible, and also to rely on the relationships that you have. So even though it may be that it's the first time for you going to a particular lender, they will use the reputation that we have in our relationship, and you can piggyback on that reputation and relationship as well. They know that the clients that we have are good quality clients. They know that we are always are able to get our clients off their bridge. There's never any problems with that whatsoever. So all of those things go to prove that you are a good client, we are good brokers, and the lender wants to do business with us. So yeah, all in all, quite a stressful situation, but auctions can be sometimes. Sometimes they go swimmingly, and sometimes they are a problem. But yeah, it's a risk that you take, but when you're taking that risk on the auction, you definitely can't afford to take a risk on your broker or your lender or your solicitor. So yeah, I hope that was useful, interesting tale for you. Come back and see what else we've got coming up for the rest of December. Let me know what your thoughts in the comments. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and also give us a follow on Instagram. We've got plenty more property updates in there for you.